We're starting up here, top of the hour. I want to thank everybody for being here. My name is Paul Hitchcock, and I am the founder and president of Giant Jacks Media, headquartered here in Orange County, California, near Disneyland. We help others to grow their businesses, and this is my channel, Giant TV, where I have entrepreneurs, founders, dynamic people doing great things, and certainly Ross Hartman and Steve Struble are two of them. Welcome.
Thank you, Paul. I was very excited for this.
Yeah. We're going to get into this. Ross, you're the founder. You and I have known each other for a while of Kingo AI, and you are on the front lines of AI consulting, working with businesses. You're a top speaker on the subject across the country to Vistage and other groups. And we're going to get to you in a minute here into the meat of the agenda here on what's going on with AI and how businesses are actually using it today. Steve, I want to start with you. You're a Vistage chair, Charlotte area. I'd like to hear about what you're building there with Vistage and what is coming up with AI there. And then let's get into Ross.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Paul, and yeah, glad to be here today with everybody. Yeah, Vistage, for those of you who might not be familiar with it, is it's actually an international organization that brings CEOs and business leaders together in small local peer groups to support each other in their business growth and their personal and professional development. I've got a group here in Charlotte and recently surveyed them on top interests so I could facilitate discussions and areas that they're most interested in. And sure enough, artificial intelligence rose to the top quite convincingly. All of my members, they're leading small to mid-sized businesses and see the AI as something that is really a competitive advantage, and they need to get out in front of it. But it's still new enough that they're seeking how to do that. Myself, I'm on the same journey within my practice. I have adopted various AI tools for business development and outreach, as well as facilitation and planning. It's great for research to come up with notable quotes, exercises, meaningful events for the members so they can see what's going on. The members themselves have been using AI a lot in the areas of market research, uh, finding key customers, something I did in my business development. I used AI to develop ideal personas for new members, then went through Claude to develop Sales Navigator search terms to find business leaders that met those personas. And that gave me a more targeted approach to reach out to the right candidates who would certainly be interested in taking part in a Vistage group. So that's very powerful. And my members are doing the same thing, trying to identify the key market segments, looking for customers, doing research. One of my members runs an M&A firm, and they do a lot of their research now using AI, on companies that are either potential buyers or sellers to get into the details and put together reports to analyze those businesses. Very powerful and streamline. What would take a person maybe 20 hours can be done, in less than an hour and get an even better result. So very efficient using that. But the questions that still come up are around expertise and then more importantly, governance. These companies need to have a good governance in place for AI because of the data security issues, consistency issues, providing the human element to review outputs, right? AI, can do a lot, but it can't replace the human. So keeping the human in the loop and all that comes from having a good governance structure. So that's another area that we're finding very relevant and very important to these business leaders. So I'm still on a journey on a scale of 1 to 10. I might be at a 3. My members may say they're at a 5 or 6, but I bet they're at a 3 or 4 as well when I get down into it. And we rely on folks like Ross, who are deep into it. And I don't know if Ross would claim to be a 9 or a 10, but I'll give him that if he claims it. And a great resource. to really get into this emerging tool and leveraging all the possibilities that it brings and keeping up with the changes, right? It evolves so fast that having experts that we can lean on is really important. Yeah, so
Love
Paul,
it.
so that's kind of where we're at, and yeah,
Love it.
love to hear from Ross. Yeah.
Yeah, Ross, I put you at a 10. I've known you for a while, but I'm just gonna
Okay.
say. All right, Ross, yeah, let's get into it. Ross, take us there.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm the CEO of Kingo. Kind of like as Steve I mentioned, we're working with different companies. We're seeing different industries adopt AI at different paces. I know governance is such a huge topic, like you said. Happy to talk about that. And data privacy and security is such a big thing for folks. But Kingo, we really focus on taking companies on the journey to becoming AI native. So I know, Paul, we were kind of talking about this a little before, but what's the value of AI? I think in the short term, it gives us a productivity boost, no doubt. I think, we can all create more, we can all do more on a day-to-day basis. But the challenge with that from a strategic standpoint with our businesses is that's going to get competed away because these models are commoditized. Everybody has access to them. Everyone's going to learn them and use them. And so I think that competitive edge you can get from the productivity boost of AI, maybe that lasts 2 to 3 years. Then we can start getting into kind of historical parallels here. But you think about how you want to rework the work or the operating model of your company around this new technology as a much deeper conversation, but like that's the long-term strategic conversation that companies need to be having, I think. And of course,
Love it.
there is the short term, like, okay, how are we just going to roll this out and get our people to use AI? That's where folks are today, of course.
Well, let's get into it. So I have some questions here, some areas we want to focus on. Where is AI creating ROI right now, Ross? What are you seeing there?
Yeah. I mean, it's all levels of quick wins, right? I mean, or levels of you can do quick things like content generation, right? So it's helping me more easily. I have an AI that drafts responses to all my emails, for instance. So every hour it checks my email, it understands who I am, what our company does, it drafts responses. It also puts together a morning briefing every morning with every meeting that I have for the day and kind of what did we talk about last time? What do I need to do to prepare? So content generation is huge. Everybody knows this, right? Create a disaster recovery plan, create a memo, create more marketing material. Everybody's in this game. But when you start thinking about it beyond that, I think it gets far more interesting. So here's an example.
Yeah.
With our HubSpot, I imagine a lot of folks' CRMs are like this. And maybe the data is not as clean as you would like, right? You don't have lead sources on all your deals. But that data lives somewhere. It lives in your email. Somebody reached out to you and say, "Hey, I heard about you here," or "I attended, your Zoom webinar. I have this information." Well, why shouldn't we have an agent with access to all of our company data, obviously, that can do research on each deal in our CRM and find where that lead came from and then update the record inside of HubSpot? I mean, that's something that we've done. It worked for 22 hours and like 30 minutes straight, and it did it. It was great. So that's the kind of stuff where that's a second level of value that you can get from this when you start to bring in these agents. But first, immediate impact is just, hey, let me boost my content creation, basically.
Mhm. Yeah, I can add in one of my member companies is an R&D company. They develop and distribute chemical processes. And they have gone back through their files and uploaded all their previous research and experiments, the successes and failures, all that data into their AI tool, and now are leveraging that for new products, new needs, new developments. They can basically very quickly learn what they learned before, bring that to the surface, and then build that into a new offering in probably a tenth of the time that it would have taken to do that manually. So they're really speeding up their R&D process and delivering better products at the back end through the use of AI systems that they've put in place.
Mm, love it. Love
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, which is great. And one of the talking points we have here is actual, AI use cases that are emerging and businesses are starting to use for 10 million annual revenue plus companies. So, Ross, for these
Mhm.
Vistage member type of companies, what's emerging, beyond, the marketing lead gen stuff, but like what Steve's talking about, what are some real concrete things that are you're
Yeah.
seeing?
Yeah, I mean, it's I could go through an entire inventory list and maybe I'll just rattle some off. I mean, you can
Yeah, a
do like
few.
revenue reconciliation, can create your invoices, it can proactively alert your customers that something is behind schedule. It can, it's just kind of across the board. It's just what do you want to do that a human does and you can have an AI do it. And I mean that literally. On our website, we have a list of a bunch of different workflows. It's like 20,000 workflows across industries and across use cases. But I think it's more valuable to think about, okay, what does your business actually do? Rather than thinking, what can AI do for me? But
Hmm.
instead, what are my people, my human labor doing on a day-to-day basis? Are they moving things between spreadsheets? Are they researching? Are they putting together reports? Are they analyzing and synthesizing? Are they communicating with customers? What is it? And what's the purpose behind that from a business perspective? And then we decide, okay, in a world where we can move from human labor to digital labor, potentially, do we have an opportunity to rework that workflow so that we can do it more in parallel and have 100 agents working on it? Or do we kind of just want to keep it as is and automate it with an AI model and just speed it up? Uh, but that's really where I would look at it is just break down your company's workflows. And then once you understand the technology, it's trivially easy to just implement it in.
So, okay, so that's interesting. So when and Steve, you could chime in here. As I talk to Vistage chairs, a lot of times they say, "Okay, I'm filling up this space. I have an opening for a law firm. I want the founder of a law firm, for example, a great addition to the group." So, in like take a law firm for example, Ross. What would be a case study for a law firm for AI? Where would you see that that company would be using it?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously there's ingestion, there's communication with the client directly. That's pretty straightforward with doing. There's ingesting their information, there's analyzing that information. I'm obviously not a law expert here, but then analyzing what might be missing and proactively alerting the client that, hey, we're missing some documents that you might need to send over. On kind of the operation side, an AI model could program an interface for you. Now, this is probably a bad example for law just because of the sensitivity of the data and
Yeah,
the regulations around that, but it could. And then internally after that, obviously it can help do analysis, it can do research. I know there was
research.
this
Yeah,
thing, this fun example that, oh, AI makes up case law, right? Well, it tends not to do that anymore, but even if you have a model that has that propensity, you can tie your AI model into LexisNexis. You wouldn't have a human just usually recalling, obscure
yeah,
case law from their head. They would be looking that up. And you would do the exact same thing with the AI model. And then, of course, once you've done the research, you've done the analysis, you've done the critical thinking, of course, it can help you redline. Then it's going to package it all up, put it in a form that the customer's gonna take. I'm obviously speaking kind of broadly.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I can back that
yeah.
up with one of my members as a company that does a lot of expert testimony in support of law cases. And when they get an engagement, it can often involve tens of thousands of documents. And so, their use case is to load those documents in, have them summarized, find the key documents, do all the sorting and organizing just based on the massive volume of those documents. And of course, then the human has to come in and review that output, identify the key facts that would support the case at hand, and then present that. But the use of an AI agent to review all those files is very effective and efficient for them to get through all that in an organized and meaningful manner.
Hmm. Yes.
How does a business get going in AI? I mean, we've talked before, you and I have offline, and Steve, you've been involved in these discussions about having someone dedicated to bringing AI into the company.
Yeah.
If it's, if you even have that person, maybe it has to be the founder. but where do you start? How do you get going in this realm of AI with your
Yeah,
business?
no, it's such a good question. So I think there are, broadly speaking, two paths here. One of them is the longer path that I think you need to do. It's going to give you the competitive advantage after the productivity is competed away. But I'm just going to put that to the side. That's not the quick win. That is, by the way, getting all your data into a central database, creating this intelligence layer where agents have access to it. But again, more complicated. The quick win is human adoption, right? So how do you get your people to use AI to speed up the things that they're currently doing? Like that's where you're going to get the most value immediately. It also has a smaller or a lower ceiling on the potential value, but again, it's a good place to start. What we've seen is honestly the CEO or the founder, the owner needs to have emotional conviction. They need to
Yeah,
actually viscerally feel that this is important. You can obviously intellectually understand, okay, I get it. AI is important. I know it can automate some things. Sure, we'll put that on the roadmap. But if you viscerally feel it, and that doesn't come from my opinion from anything other than just using it and experiencing it yourself, but if you feel that, you're willing to take the changes that you need to. And that's driving AI adoption internally. So that's having an AI champion whose central focus is on change management, more or less. It's much more focused on operations and change management than it is on IT. You still need, to Steve's point, you still need to include your IT team. You need to have the governance. You need to make sure your data security is set up properly. But when it comes down to it, it's identifying the workflows that people are going through. It's putting together prototypes of where you could start to automate those workflows using AI, and then it's actually doing it. Now, I'm just going to be honest. This is a technology, right? You're going to need somebody technological. That could be
yeah,
in-house. You probably have somebody who's technical in-house. That doesn't mean they need to know how to program. It just means that they need to be tech-minded and they know how to get the maximum value out of Claude or Codex, for instance.
yeah, yeah. And if I can make
Mhm.
a comment here, because the law firms were brought up, and you brought up this case of you need some technical background, but um, to me, this is a quintessential example of AI working and being more efficient. Is a law firm that, Steve, you know this well, I'm associated with. And many companies are like this. We built an agent to take inbound calls, right? Very busy law firm, calls come in, agent before there's a live receptionist. She's dealing with calls, transferring them to attorneys, going to voicemail. People have to try to follow up. Labor intensive. Now the agent answers the call, interacts, collects the information,
Yeah,
reason, the help they need, puts it into CRM, creates an opportunity, tags it appropriately, assigns it to the proper attorney, and kicks off the booking workflow and
love
sends
it.
an email. So now that whole labor intensive thing disappeared overnight. And
Yeah.
it's insane how the efficiency it's created there. Um, I mean, Steve, I would imagine there's a lot of businesses you talk to or you're working with where they have inbound calling going on, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh yeah, yep, yep. One of my member companies is financial advisors, and they're bringing in this type of thing as well to help, just as you described, to take in, sort through. They get volumes of email, volumes of phone calls, and they're building agents to do that. And what's important there, I want to circle back to the question of how do you do this, and that's the role of the leader. Any major change like this comes and goes based on the leader's commitment and the way the leader presents this. If the leader of any organization, delegates it and walks away, its chance of success goes way down.
Dead. Yeah.
And not that the leader has to be the tech expert or the guru, but anything like this, and that's what I'm encouraging my members to do. The leader has to be front and center and make the point that it is a competitive advantage. It is in the best interest of the company. They believe in it. They want it to happen. They're going to resource it. They're going to support it, and be out in front. And that's really a go no go. If the leader is not at the head of this adoption of such a major change, you can write it off from the get go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, are the folks you're working with, Steve, in your group, are all of those leaders embracing it? Are they all using it, or are they all trying to figure it out?
Uh, all the above, all right?
Combo,
different
yeah,
different stages, but they all see the value. They're just at different stages of maturity with it. So, but yes, they're all interested, engaged, trying to learn more, trying to get out in front of the competition because it's been very clear to them as it is to me. If you're not getting out in front of this, your competitors are, and they're going to leave you behind.
yeah,
It's not optional. If you want to compete, I mean, just remember. Well, I'm old enough to remember the days before cell phones and the days before laptop computers, and what if you didn't believe in cell phones and never adopted cell phones?
yeah.
Where would your business be today?
Well said.
What
Well
if you
said.
didn't, what if you didn't think that all your thought workers needed laptop computers? Where would you be today?
Yeah,
You'd be gone.
gone.
And what happens when the internet goes out at your business? You say, I think we're just going to close down for the day and wait until it comes back up, right? I mean,
Right.
that's the level of technology we're talking about here.
Yeah, people have forgotten all the manual processes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Ross, what does it look like when you engage with somebody? What does that roadmap look like? When you, is there, is there forms to fill out, or how do you help a company move beyond the initial stage?
Yeah, it starts with assessment, obviously. Like we need to understand what your business is, what you do. It also mixes with what does the company actually want to accomplish. So a lot of companies say, hey, we don't really want agents per se. We just want to speed up the people that we have. Some companies say we want to automate pretty much everything and we don't ever want to hire another person. There's different spectrums of where people want to go with this stuff. But you take that goal into account, you assess, and then there's a lot of different areas. So I would want to know how does your IT team or your CTO feel about this tech? A lot of them, and this is understandable, I come from the tech world too, their job is to protect your data, and they see this as a massive threat to your data, and I understand that. And so they kind of say, we don't want to work with it, we don't want to deploy it. And I think that's one place you gotta have a conversation about and your risks on that side. But then also who's driving this internally to look at your workflows, obviously. How sophisticated are you? Are your people using Claude Cowork? Are they using Claude? Are they using Codex or are they using ChatGPT? Are you using agentic workspaces on a day-to-day basis? Do you all have a custom connector into your company's data? Is all of your data in one place centralized so that agents can actually access it? Do people know what a skill is? If I say an agent that has a skill, do they know what that is? There usually is a level of training that needs to be done of the workforce initially so they can get kind of that jump start and learn how to use it on a day-to-day basis. I mean, I can keep rattling off, but obviously you get
Yeah,
the
yeah.
gist. It's a whole, it is not a, hey, just do this thing and you'll have AI. We are talking about a, a platform shift in technology and the way that work happens.
What is the commitment level of somebody that engages you, or really anybody for that matter, but you in particular?
Yeah.
What does that look like? Is it, hey, this is going to take 6 months to make any meaningful change, or what is it?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, obviously our goal is to try to get quick wins and meaningful change immediately. And we think that the quickest immediate value comes from training. So, we have a 4-week AI boot camp, for instance. So that's where you're gonna get in there, you're gonna train your people, they're gonna be far more immersed in this stuff. They're gonna know how to get value out of it immediately. But I don't want to mislead anybody. The this journey to becoming an AI native company, and maybe I should define an AI native company here, but the journey to becoming an AI native company, we're talking on the level of a couple years. We're not talking about this is a 3-month process. You can get, like I said, value, and you will get value along the way. You can build agents along the way, you can automate processes along the way, but that's different than thinking about what happens in a world where human intelligence starts to be commoditized. That's really the question we're talking about. And where's the value in your company when that happens? Because your clients are going to be saying, hey, can I just do this myself? Why do I have to go to this
Yeah.
company? And
Yeah.
we want to answer that question with you and make sure that your business model is durable over this change. And that's not a couple month process.
Hmm. And Steve, I want to ask you as we hit our time limit here, is in your group, uh, you're very much focused on AI. I know with your CEOs in there. Who are you looking to add to your group now?
Well, one of the key points of a Vistage group is the diversity of the members. So, yeah, I'm looking for folks that are growth oriented, that are innovative, that are adoptive, that are open to change, and will come in and share what they know and ask the right questions and continue to grow. Right, that's the whole point of being in a Vistage group is to become a better leader and run a better business. And so I'm looking for, those folks that have those attributes that, want to grow. They're comfortable not knowing things, but eager to learn, eager to share, eager to give and receive feedback, and at the end of the day, be a better leader and run a better company. So
Because
that's
you
what I'm
meet,
looking for.
your group meets every month, all the
We
CEOs and you
do.
get together. Yeah.
Right. We meet monthly for a day, and we hear from experts such as Russ as a vision speaker. We go through a proprietary process to solve issues, and share things and just talk about topics front of mind. The agenda is really member driven, right? I don't set the agenda. The members do. They bring their challenges and their needs to the group, and then the power of the group is to help figure things out and help advance those.
Love it. Well, I want to thank both of you for being here. And I'll say anybody, wherever you're watching this, we simulcast it everywhere, replay it. The contact information for Steve and Ross will be around this session. Thank you, gentlemen, both of you. And I know we'll be
Mhm.
talking again.
Love it. Thank you
Yep.
both. Very
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
Bye.
See you soon.